welcome the opportunity to have 5 minutes on this, although I don't think it's enough, Ceann Comhairle, and I would ask the Business Committee to look at this. Last week we were here 2.5 hours at least on the smoking ban that was 20 years old and was very successful, and today there are 75 minutes in relation to this. I want to thank the Chair and the Committee for producing this report, and I would ask them to go back and seek more time to discuss this fulsomely as it deserves. And despite your best efforts, Minister, and I know you've driven change in your department, you were starting from a very low base. And so we're almost 5 years since we declared a climate catastrophe, a climate emergency and a biodiversity emergency. And imagine today you're telling us, and I welcome it, that we're almost there with the most basic thing, a biodiversity officer in each local authority. I spent 17 years of my life with other colleagues, please do something, and nothing happened. And here we are 5 years later, we're now looking at that. I welcome the report and I welcome the speed with which the report was produced. But what it followed on from the Citizens' Assembly, and this report has 86 recommendations, which I'm not going to get through, and I see no problem with any of them. However, what I do see is a complete lack of integrated government response. I don't think the penny has dropped at all. And so let's look at what Mary Robinson is telling us, that we need to do action. What has she told us? Ireland has ambitious climate policies, but is failing to implement them. We have a beautiful island. It could be the most sustainable island in the world, and everybody would benefit. I absolutely agree with her. I don't see climate change in terms of problems. I see it in terms of potential and possibilities, and if we do it, but we're not dealing with that, so therefore it has become an existential threat, and we're still persisting with the same policies nationally and worldwide. In terms of our investment, we still cannot get a clear commitment from the government. Yesterday when we were talking about pension funds, not to invest in the arms industry, not to invest in fossil fuels and so on. Over and over, that's what we're facing. A complete misalignment between policy and action. On a more basic level, the Burn project that everybody is praised in Clare is misaligned with the Acres project, and so on. And so we look at Mary Robinson and included in that coverage by the paper the business community, and this is somebody in the business community. The business community has a key role in engaging and negotiating a genuine trust transition. But what does Mr. Gillard say? Sustainability was a few years ago a main priority for CEOs, but what I see today is business getting preoccupied with geopolitical tension, challenging economic environment, and other challenges like artificial intelligence, but not dealing with climate change. And indeed, I would say the large corporations are an integral part of the problem in relation to climate change. And so when I look at this and all of these recommendations and the work of the Citizens' Assembly, it's a battle cry. It's a cór gatha, although I don't like the word battle cry, but in a peaceful sense, it's a call to arms to do something, while all the time we're ignoring what wars and the arms industry are doing to nature. So we're here trying to do a little bit while ignoring the elephant in the room. And even while we're trying to do our little bit, we're not having a full integrated approach. So Dr. Yvonne Ní Shúilleabháin, Chair of the Citizens' Assembly, need for urgent action to address the stark issue of biodiversity loss in Ireland. I won't go into the details because the time is running off on me. And then we go to Dr. Anya Ryall. The state has comprehensively failed to adequately fund, implement and enforce existing national legislation, national policies, EU biodiversity-related laws, and so on. And so it goes on. And in those 86 recommendations, different ones jump out at me, and they're all under different headings. But I'm looking at Galway City. I'll go parochial just for a few seconds. There's a fantastic laneway. Everything in that laneway, all the biodiversity you can imagine, it's not protected. You might as well throw, as the Deputy Higgins said a long time ago, and I'm using it in a different context, throw a slitter at a thank you, a cock of haystack. Something as practical as that should be treasured. It's the old road from Menlo into Galway. Then we have the decarbonisation zones with no money. Then we have the climate action plans, not funded. All of the local authorities underfunded and under-resourced. And I'm extremely critical of management. But the staff are underfunded, under-resourced and under-supported. And at the end of the day, we need the community involved. The only slight thing I disagree with the former president is in terms of behavioural change. The people are way ahead of us us. Children are way ahead of us. The behavioural changes at government level and at corporate level, at EU level, and they're going ahead with the same policies. I wish you the best of luck, Minister, and I will support you in your endeavour. Gar Magat.